I covered this before, but I covered it live, so I'm just going to cover this now with the option to stop at any point, make a comment there. Before I didn't have time to interrupt and make comments.
I need to speak louder because this was not amplified.
Okay. Is this loud enough, Judge?
I can hear you.
So she's acting very like, is this loud enough, Judge? You know, like she has respect for the court, but boy, wait a minute here. Judge, you're about to get unloaded on.
Thank you for letting me speak.
I mean, that's not coming from the heart because she hates this guy with a passion. Utterly hates him and everyone in there from Tallahassee.
My son-in-law, Dan Markell, was a fine and decent man.
Now think about it, fine and decent man. She's never said anything but derogatory comments about him. Then after she's convicted, she's reading something from a script. That's not coming from the heart at all, folks. Not at all.
He was well educated and passionate about his career. He was a good son-in-law.
Okay, well, that's the kind of stuff that your lawyer was talking about, Fulford, in front of the jury. But there was no evidence of that you believe that. Was that true about him? Yeah, he's more than just a good son-in-law. He was an awesome son-in-law, but a phenomenal father.
But more importantly, he was a caring and loving father.
But that didn't matter to you because you're willing to gun him down and keep your grandchildren from a guy like that. Imagine that. You couldn't ask for a better man to be a father of your grandsons. And that was somebody you wanted to exterminate.
On July 18th, 2014, his car was followed, leaving his home.
Okay, you know what? Going through the history of how he got killed, acting like this is going to be how you emotionally are dealing with this, is this all contrived gibberish here?
It should have been just like any other day, an ordinary day.
Yeah, but you wanted to make sure he didn't survive that day.
The life of Ben and Lincoln's father. But
I'm just really shocked that she invokes the grandsons' names here. So it's just an all-in act for her folks that follow her, and she's thinking that she can gaslight him and thinking she's innocent. So it's all just a performance here.
it wasn't. He didn't know when he left his boys off at daycare that would be the last time he would see them.
Okay, there's a shaky voice again. No tears, no concerns. This is all just all this smoke and mirrors.
And the last time they would see him, he didn't.
You know what? If she really felt remorseful about that, the rest of this, how she goes off on the system, would not have happened. It's almost like she has an internal reflection here of how vicious and heartless she was to help execute this.
No, when he went to the gym afterwards, that would be the last time he would exercise.
I never thought this through before I helped orchestrate this, Your Honor. I'm terribly sorry. I'm remorseful. What a damage I've done to my grandkids, my family. My family's ripped apart, all because I had such unmitigated hatred and cruelty in my heart.
And he didn't know when he drove home that his life would end within minutes.
Yeah, he's upset about Dan being murdered, isn't he? Just a pack of murderous...
Danny wasn't just being followed. He was being hunted. He was brutally...
Yeah, and you're the hunter. You paid for the bullets. You paid for that trip up from Miami via your son with the help of your daughter, figuring out where he was at, how to have the hitman find him.
Murdered in broad daylight, sitting in his car, in his garage, by vicious killers.
Yeah. Paid for handsomely by you and Harvey.
I cannot imagine the terror he felt when he saw a gun pointed at him through the window of his car.
The terror he felt. This is like an ambush style attack. Yeah, he saw that coming. You're absolutely right about this. The horror, he felt like, hey, what's going on here? A guy's got a gun. Yeah, this is not looking good. Just in a split second, he was shot. He probably didn't even have more than a second, if even that, to think about what's about to happen.
I cannot conceive of his heroic efforts to stay alive during the hours after the attack.
This is all just fakery, guys, here. Unbelievable.
Danny died in the early morning hours of July 19th. His death is a loss to his children, his parents, his sister, all of us in his family, his friends, his...
This sounds like it's written by the lawyer. This is not coming from her heart. She couldn't even conjure up these words. This sounds like an all-encompassing statement of how this was a vicious crime to try to make it look like she wasn't a part of it. That's
colleagues in the legal community, and to his students at FSU Law School. Danny's boys each have a photo of themselves with their Abba, their dad, beside their beds.
Yeah, try to get the boys to believe that you're nothing behind it. Is that why you put those pictures there? Just to try to remove your consciousness of guilt?
They grew up kissing the framed photo and saying, "Good night, Abba, I love you."
Okay, well, great. If they did that, that shows how much painful it was on a daily basis to have their dad's life ripped from their own precious little lives, and every day they got to suffer for that. So yeah, but even that thought is not making you cry. You grab some tissue there, but there's not a single tear.
The pictures and memories are all they have, because cruel, cold-hearted people took him from all of us who loved him.
Yeah, cruel, cold-hearted people. The Florida Adelsons, indeed. That is truth.
My heart was broken when Danny died.
Now that's a massive lie there. No, you celebrated. You were like cheering big time. Probably one of the best days of your life.
My grandsons were going to grow up without the father who loved them.
Yeah, you even had, there's evidence that you were like, they don't miss their dad. They're doing fine. Their dad was so hated by you, you wanted to exterminate him.
I wondered, how could we help these boys through this trauma? It was then that my husband and I knew that the best way to honor Danny's memory would be to share with these children an abundance of love, the love that Danny would have given them if he were alive.
This is so insulting, guys. I've just never seen this. How bizarre.
It is interesting how the state can't make up its mind about who is what they call the, quote, mastermind behind this.
I think this is now Donna taking over the narration. I think she wrote the rest of this
murder. In both of Catherine Magbanow's trials, the state claimed she was the mastermind behind Danny's murder. In my son Charlie Adelson's trial, they claimed he was the mastermind. And now in my trial, they claimed that I, this grandma, was the mastermind behind the murder.
They never said Kitty was a mastermind, so that right there is a lie as well. And you think Charlie just came up with this idea on his own? No, you were the one of the main impetuses for this. Obviously, Wendy wanted Dan out of her life, and you pressured your son and helped your son not only accomplish this, but financed it to the hilt.
I had no idea that other people planned to cut Danny's life short. And the people who did this are...
Well, let's see. Is she looking up when she says that?
It is interesting how the state can't make up its mind about who is what they call the, quote, mastermind behind this murder. In both of Catherine Magbanow's trials, the state claimed she was the mastermind behind Danny's murder.
She's not looking up.
In my son Charlie Adelson's trial, they claimed he was the mastermind. And now in my trial, they claimed that I, this grandma, was the mastermind behind the murder. I had no idea that other people planned to cut Danny's life short.
Oh, that's complete falsehood there, but go ahead. play your violin for the judge and all the world to see.
And the people who did this are exactly where they deserve to be.
Okay, well, that's an admission there. All right, you deserve to be there. Exactly.
But I had no knowledge that this horrible, evil act was going to take place. If I had become aware of this plan before Danny was murdered.
Okay, so she had no idea whatsoever, right? And there's this overwhelming evidence of guilt. And she's still going to stick to her story of innocence, yet she won't tell the jury that, and she won't even tell the judge with a sworn statement, or she can be cross-examined.
I would have stopped it. With not one iota of actual evidence, the state convinced a Tallahassee jury that I...
Not one iota of evidence? No, there's ample evidence. Enough to have your conviction stick on appeal.
...solicited and conspired with other people to have Danny killed. Where is the evidence prior to the murder? The evidence...
Okay, prior to, well, there is evidence prior to, and there's overwhelming evidence after the fact. So you can't get around this. Well, you can't prove it before and with enough evidence. No, you're talking in code. Yeah, you knew about the birthday present. You had the money ready to go. You even had damp money from the previous effort to kill him a month previous, when you literally laundered the money to make sure you didn't have DNA or fingerprints of that type of you or Harvey on there. So that's where the evidence is, and also the hatred and all the efforts you made to stir up strife between Wendy and Dan's relationship.
It's beyond a reasonable doubt that the state needed to prove their case. Where is the evidence before July 18th, 2014 at 10:50 in the morning?
Okay, well, you're saying there's overwhelming evidence afterwards, but you just can't find it beforehand. Well, guess what? The jury has seen that, and the jury has spoken. So you're going to sit here and attack the prosecutor, the jury, the whole judicial system, and this is what you're thinking you're going to do for getting a better sentence?
Before you continue, Mrs. Adelson, as it relates to this statement, is the defense trying to re-argue the trial?
No, Judge, just giving Adelson an opportunity to be heard.
I'm just telling you, I've never seen this before, when somebody's going on and on, acting like they're a victim of this whole process. They're innocent. They totally love the victim, and they've just been set up by no evidence. And a prosecution team that's lying to the jury, and a judge that this looks the other way. That's what she's saying here.
Mrs. Adelson, you certainly can continue. However, the court can take into consideration the utter lack of remorse that you are displaying. Please proceed if you desire to do so.
It's not going to stop her. She has no remorse, so she's going to keep going on her rant.
Where is the evidence before July 18th, 2014?
You know, her attorney should like reel her in and say, "Hey, come on, Donna, you need to like wrap it up. Don't attack the system. Don't attack the judge. You're just asking for a judge to find you having zero remorse, and there's no reason to give you any kind of a lighter sentence than you deserve."
At 10:50 a.m. that revealed that I had any involvement in this vile and horrific act.
Wrong.
Where is the solicitation and conspiracy evidence? The state needed to show that there was evidence before the murder to convict me.
They did.
The state couldn't show that because there wasn't any evidence. They were trying an innocent person.
Dropped off the money.
It makes you wonder if the jurors were sleeping when the state had Sergeant Corbett on the stand for hours. Their own star witness testified that my phone was never, I repeat, never at my son's house on the night of the murder.
No, that's not what he testified to. You're putting a spin on it. And you said you're waiting for him there, and he said he's about 10 minutes to 9 or 10 minutes away, whatever it was. So right there, it just shows how low they're going to try to put a spin on everything.
The state's theory that my husband and I dropped off money to my son was blown out of the water by their own witness. And yet, the state continued to push that story.
No, it wasn't. Very, very very unique signature type of evidence that was brought in by Katie McBanois. So sorry, Donna. You didn't even testify to refute anything. Neither did Harvey. You guys are too much a bunch of cowards.
That lie of the so-called money drop to the jury through the remainder of the trial. And the jury bought into it, hook, line, and sinker. Reasonable doubt. Many months ago,
They bought into it because it was the truth. You had nothing to refute it.
my attorneys filed a motion for a change of venue. An expert witness testified that Tallahassee had been barraged with over 9 years of negative social media, printed news, television news, and podcast publicity about my family. He explained to the court both.
Keep going on. A normal judge would have probably said enough. You better talk to your lawyer, or tell the lawyer, hey, you better talk to your client. Do you really want to go down this road, continually bashing the court? Here we go. She's going to go direct attack here on Judge Everett.
With evidence and demonstratives that for me to receive a fair trial, it needed to be held in any of the researched and designated areas in the state of Florida other than Tallahassee. All I wanted was a level playing field, but the court wanted the trial here in the hotbed of Tallahassee.
So Judge Everett, she's accusing you of not wanting to have a level playing field. You stacked the deck against her and used people that were totally bought into all the negative stories talking about her and her involvement. But you know what? They didn't need to go look elsewhere to have the trial because they had enough jurors that knew nothing about the case. So it's all just blame other people, can't accept responsibility.
I sat through 3 days of jury selection. 180 potential jurors were asked if they had developed an opinion in my case. Those that answered yes also added, I believe she is guilty. Not one person, not one, said, I think she may be innocent. That should have been a clue to the court to grant our motion.
Well, anybody following the case, of course, they're going to think that you're guilty because it's so evident. You are listening to you talking on wiretaps, and I could go on and on about it. But people who knew about the case and had formed an opinion that you're guilty, those kind of people weren't seated on the jury.
For a change of venue, but the court denied the motion. One of my jurors admitted during jury selection that she had background information concerning what one of the state's witnesses would be testifying about. Why was she allowed to be on my jury?
What moment?
Another juror.
Mrs. Fulford,
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Mr. Zellman.
You're off.
Again, this has nothing to do with elocution of any sort. This is a raising of grievances, which are properly given to the appellate court. What does any of this have to do with sentencing?
Could I have just one moment, please?
We don't know, Your Honor, but we just know she hates you and she wants to continue on telling you how much you screwed up her case and she's guilty because of people like you of Tallahassee. He's like, I've never seen this before. My gosh, look at him fluttering eyes. Like, this is like an unhinged rant by some psychopath. But you know what? We'll just get it right up in your face. Shout you down, Judge. We don't care. What are you going to do? Sentence me to the max? I'm just trying to get you ticked off so I can claim you exposed.
Turn that phone off or step out.
So I guess that was Harvey. So what's going on here, Fulford? Is there no shame to try to not stop your client from going off on the judge like that?
When the phone is off.
This is so out of form. No lawyer that had any self-respect to allow this to go on like this. You wouldn't let your client go up there and just spewing that hatred to the judge, making some kind of pellet argument. What do you know about the law, Donna? Just because you're held accountable by the law being properly followed is not a smart move. Act this way. Judges like, this is so embarrassing to see lawyers that embarrass themselves and their clients this way. And this is all televised. This is not going on in some courtroom without any cameras there. It's being played nationwide and worldwide. Look at this long pause in here.
Please.
What happened to Danny is unforgivable. But I am an innocent woman convicted of this terrible crime without evidence.
Yeah, okay.
Danny was a brilliant legal scholar. He would have been appalled at the total lack of justice that went on during my trial.
Lie.
He would have been embarrassed to have his name associated with any of it.
No, actually, he's embarrassed to be associated with anything having to do with Adelson of Florida. So you're completely wrong on that. Again, just eye poking here.
There are two crimes here. The first was Danny being viciously murdered.
You've already said that. What's the point? Making it look like you're upset? You haven't even shed a tear this whole time of trial. And you think people are going to believe this trash, ash and trash you're spewing here?
The second one is taking my life, the life of an innocent woman. Convicting me should not be retribution for Danny's death.
Oh yeah, it's retribution. It's not because the evidence was overwhelming against you, Donna. No, you don't have to see it that way.
That is not justice for Dan. I've always respected the law. I've never gotten a parking ticket, but I'm going to prison for a murder.
I'm sure you're able to talk your way out of it or get some kind of buddy judge or lawyer to help you out. So that's probably a truthful statement there.
I did not commit. I do intend to file an appeal so that hopefully I have the opportunity to be given a fair trial outside of Tallahassee.
Oh, so you want to have a retrial a couple years down the road? Harvey, you okay with that? How are you going to afford that?
11 years ago, Danny was murdered and taken from all of us who loved him.
Oh my gosh, this is like yeah, right. You love Danny. Yeah. You were just heartbroken when Wendy did a Pearl Harbor divorce on him, right?
For the past 9.5 years, the state has broadcast to the world, including Danny's parents and sister, that I hired hitmen to kill him.
You did.
Never in a million years would I have wanted Danny to be harmed or killed, nor could I ever do something
Yeah, right.
that would leave these two small boys to grow up without him.
Okay.
I love these boys more than life itself.
That's what drama here. Unbelievable. Yeah, she just wants to have a public statement making it look like she was framed as a railroad job, and she's hoping the boys are still in their brainwashing mode if they listen to this, so they can say, well, God, yeah, maybe grandma is telling the truth. Hopefully they're going to wake up someday and really smell the coffee.
A lifetime of loss for these children. They didn't deserve this. His family didn't deserve this. Danny didn't deserve this.
Don't act like
so,
you're scared.
As I appear before you today, Your Honor, I promise you.
Oh, now it's Your Honor again? Okay.
With my whole heart, I swear to you on my life, I was not involved in any way with Danny's murder.
Okay.
I was not.
Well, that's a confirmation right there that you were, because you know what? This kind of eye blinking, squeezing, I should say. That's consistent with what guilty people do.
Danny didn't deserve this.
Look
And
at her
so,
squeeze her eyes.
as I
It's like
appear
Wendy.
before you today, Your Honor, I promise you with my whole heart, I swear to you on my life, I was not
you go.
involved in any way with Danny's murder. I was not.
It's not righteous disgust and anger of being falsely accused and convicted and sentenced. No, it's all an act. It's all a script. So anybody that's following her, whether it's her friends or the grandsons, someday, if they ever see this, they're going to say, you know what? Yeah, she sounds like she's innocent. No, yeah, the body language and her fakery is just over the top. I mean, you think if you're falsely convicted, even if you're correctly convicted, you think that this would be something that you could generate some tears for.